Live from San Diego, this is the Fox 5 Morning News at 9.
I love this backdrop. I think I'm going to steal this ivy behind us and just take it home. Isn't this lovely?
Yeah, actually, it's not ivy, is it?
Well, you said it's
I thought
ivy.
it was
Now
ivy.
You said it's not.
It looks like ground cover.
The grass wall is what I called it earlier. Good morning and welcome to the big Valentine's Day edition of the Big 9 o'clock hour. I'm Raul Martinez. How are you?
And I'm Shali Zamarodi. Happy Valentine's Day, by the way, along with Miss Chrissy Russo.
So it's going to be cooler today. It already is, if you can feel the difference. Sunny skies and warm tomorrow, and then big changes for the weekend. We'll talk more about that in a few minutes.
Okay, also coming up, this is very exciting. You know, I'm not very handy, but I like to learn. Dim the lights, turn up the heat. This Valentine's Day. Oh, here comes a romantic radio voice.
Here we go.
How to make your home feel sexier in today's Tool Time Tuesday.
Okay, but before you do that, you need to go on a date. You got to find somebody before
yeah?
you
Maybe
do all that.
you
Oh, good for me.
Sure. Let's go talk about texting. Texting, Raul.
Okay,
should you text before
I
the
was
first
asking
date?
earlier if you should text before a date, and I'm so out of the loop with this whole, with the phone thing since I've been married 13 years.
Yeah.
Is this, I don't know.
Matchmaker specialist Claire Wexler from Selective Search is here. Claire,
Help us.
help us. We have the phones, and they're like in the business of dating now.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think texting can be good for kind of a short communication of making plans, but texting should never replace a phone call. We always tell our clients, pick up the phone and make a phone call.
So an actual conversation. So if you meet on the phone or on one of these things, what if the way you communicate is like Craigslist and that where you're supposed to only email and not that it's you know what I mean?
Right. I think that you can take it from texting or emailing to a phone call. You really need to, because you need to hear someone's voice, someone's warmth, what's conveyed.
Right. Okay.
And it's hard to, in a text, to get someone's sense of humor. Or, you don't really have a frame of reference if you don't know somebody. So a lot of things can be totally misunderstood.
Your sense of humor sometimes can be misinterpreted.
Absolutely. You've got to be very careful with that. Absolutely.
Well, because the words, from what I understand, is a small portion of our communication, right? It's the tone.
Yes.
And it's your body language, which you're obviously not going to do, but the tone in your
Right.
voice. You could tell somebody, I love you, and you could tell somebody, I love you.
Absolutely.
Means totally two different things.
Right. And none of that, let's be honest, replaces a face-to-face
Yeah,
meeting.
true.
Because you don't know ever if you have chemistry with someone until you meet them in person.
Yeah.
Okay, okay.
Boy. What about, here's a question for you.
Yeah.
Ready? Modern dating. I'm kind of an old school, so can you keep it kind of old school, but still be in the dating world today with all the gadgets and all the whatnot?
Well, sure. I think texting can once you're dating someone and you know them, I think a cute romantic text during the day can really keep people, connected.
Oh, really?
Very often you might not have time for a phone call, you might not be able to. So I think you can certainly use technology to be romantic, but it should never replace.
But in the day and age that we are texting so much, and so much of our communication is online now, is it weird now when a guy calls you? It just feels weird nowadays, no?
I do think it's a little bit of a generational thing too, where I think if you're probably under 30, it's probably really strange.
Yeah.
But I do think that it really, you have to kind of take someone's lead. There are some people that like to speak on the phone and have time, and there's other people that like have more brief conversation.
Because there's that etiquette thing that people, like if I text you, I don't want you to call me.
Exactly.
That is why I text you. So in the dating world, I don't know if that changes.
Who made that rule up?
Everybody knows that rule, Shali. If I text you, it's because I don't want to talk to you, but I got to get this message across.
Is that a rule?
I don't know if it's quite a rule, but maybe it's more of a guideline.
It's a guideline. See, it's a thing. Okay, what about texting? Well, let's say you got the first date, and then you want to have a second date. Can you text? Is that okay to text? Hey, you want to go out again?
Sure. In between date 1 and 2 to ask someone out again? Sure, absolutely. You can text. Now you've met face to face. You have a little bit of a connection. Sure, but I still do think a phone call is still nice.
So Valentine's Day, a fun day for love, but if you're single, maybe it's not so fun because you asked yourself that question, why am I single? So what would be your advice for people who are single today and they are looking for love?
Yes. First of all, it's important to remember that just because someone's in a relationship doesn't mean they're in a happy relationship. So we should all aim to be in a happy relationship. And I think that there's so many ways of meeting people. At our company, we're high-end matchmakers, so we actually make face-to-face introductions the old-fashioned way, and we meet and screen everyone, which I still think is the best way. But I think if you're single, you on today, spend time with your girlfriends or your guy friends. Have dinner. Don't be alone. There's lots of ways to have love in your life. It doesn't have to just be from a partner.
Do people come to you and they say that they want like a certain, because I've always learned that you can't have this laundry list of things you want in a person, because that's not really a good thing.
Sure.
But then do people go and say, well, I need to have a guy who's a doctor or a lawyer who has this much money and this kind of house? Do you get that kind of person? What do you tell that person?
Absolutely. We do work with people who are very picky and bring a lot to the table themselves.
Yeah.
I do think it's important to have your non-negotiables. For instance,
Sure.
if you want to have kids, don't be with someone who doesn't want to have
Okay.
kids, right? If religion is important to you, then don't
Okay.
choose someone who's outside of your religion.
Okay.
So there are certain things that are going to be deal breakers for people that they should adhere to.
See, those are good non-negotiables.
But
Okay.
for something like, I will only date a guy who's over 6'2", that's just silly.
Okay, good,
That's
good.
just silly. You know, or I will only date a woman with blonde hair. That's a little bit
That's silly.
That's
Because she could
silly.
still be a brunette.
Excuse me, Chrissy has a question.
Case in point. Yes, please.
Chrissy, yes, go ahead.
From your perspective, from the matchmaker, because from our perspective we see things life one way, but from your perspective, what actually makes a match? What actually works?
What? I was good. What,
What makes the match from her
what
perspective?
makes the match work from your perspective?
Okay, I think every match comes down to two things, and that's timing and chemistry. So you have to have two people who are on the same page in terms of life goals and being ready for a relationship. That's
Right.
the most important thing. And then the second thing is, do you have that physical, emotional, and intellectual chemistry? And that you really don't know until you meet somebody in person.
Wow, that's really good. Huh? The timing, I think, is so critical.
So
My
critical. That's
goodness.
the most important
Okay,
thing.
if you would like to get in touch with Claire, she knows what she's talking about. I'll tell you what, we put all the information for Selective Search on our website, fox5sandiego.com. Click the Scene On tab. Shali, how was that? That was pretty good.
That was really good.
Right? I was telling Claire, like, where were you 20, 25 years ago? And I was struggling through figuring out how to...
Why would it matter? You're married to a
No.
beautiful lady
Yes,
now, so-
I got lucky is what happened, but what if I didn't get, not get luck. Anyway, Claire, you are
Thank
wonderful
you.
and awesome.
Thank you so much.
And I'm just going to go ahead and stop digging myself a hole.
That's a smart idea.
Oh, you got lucky, all right.